Coach Kayla over here at Pursuit Fitness. Gonna walk you through the movement standards and the rules that are going to be enforced this weekend at our Deka Strong event. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about zone number 1, which are the RAM reverse lunges. You have 30 of these to complete with the RAM racked on your body in whichever way you see fit. So the most typical ones that we see is racked on the shoulder or racked on both shoulders behind, okay? Now I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, go. And then from there, what we are going to be looking for is that you step back, your knee touches the ground, and you stand all the way back up so that we see full knee extension and full hip extension. So we are not able to stay hunched over like this during our rep. Once you bring your feet back together, that's considered 1 rep, and then you need to alternate it to go back to the other leg. So you can't stay on all of the same leg for every single rep. So I'm gonna go ahead and show what this looks like. 3, 2, 1, go. When you get done, you're going to set down the RAM. You can set it down in the way that I just showed, or you can set it standing back up. RAMs are not allowed to be thrown or dropped. Once you finish your reverse lunges, you're gonna go over to the row erg where you're gonna complete 500 meters. Now you can set your damper setting, your feet setting, to whatever it is that you like. The only requirement is that you have to stay seated at the row until your screen actually reaches 500 meters. At that point, you can stand up and move on to the box. Once you get done with the row erg, you're going to approach the box. Every single athlete will need to do the 24-inch setting, and in order to complete your 20 reps, there's a few things that need to happen. The first is you're gonna stand next to the side of the box. Both feet have to start on one side, they have to get on top of the box, and then they must hit the other side, and that's 1 completed rep. You are allowed to jump, so if you wanna do jump box overs, more than welcome to do that. You can step on it in any way that you like. Also, for people that feel unsafe or are needing a little bit of extra assistance, you are allowed to use a single hand on the box as such. So if I need help getting up on top of the box and then need help getting down, that is more than legal, okay? But you are not allowed to take both hands and vault up and over the box. If you are using a hand, make sure that your hand is actually removed from the box. So you should look like this when you're done. The next station is 25 med ball sit-ups. So when you get done from the box, you're gonna see the ball right in front of you. There are 2 different ways that you can approach this. You can either run up and sit down and start your med ball sit-ups from there. You are also allowed to turn around and come here and start your med ball sit-ups, okay? The biggest thing is that we need to make sure of 2 things. That the med ball hits up above your head, actually makes contact with the floor, and that it comes back up and over and it touches in between your heels, okay? I see a lot of people cut that short by just going in between their legs. It's gotta hit in between the heels in order for it to count, okay? Your shoulder blades, in addition to, need to actually come up off the ground. You don't need to be fully sitting up, but as long as we see distance between your shoulders and the ground, and it's meeting those other 2 requirements of behind your head and in between your heels, that'll be a solid rep. So I'll show you what this looks like. So I'm gonna show it one way. Okay, after that, you have 500 meters to complete on the ski erg. Again, any damper setting can be used, and the only requirement here is that you stay on the actual ski erg platform until those 500 meters are shown on the screen. Up next, we have the 100-meter farmer's carry. Men, you're gonna have 60-pound dumbbells in your hand. Women, you're gonna have the 40s. Unless you're a master's, then you're going to have the 20 pounds in your hands. Now, with that being said, that 100 meters is going to be split up by 10 meters down and 10 meters back. So it's not just a straight line down, it's gonna be 10 meters down and back 5 times to get to your 100. When you do this, there's going to be cones that you will need to step past every single time. It has to be both feet. So I'll show this here. Trot along in my farmer carry. I'm gonna step behind the cone, touch, make sure both feet clear the cone, and then I'm gonna run back the other way to do the same thing on the other side. And for everyone's favorite station of all, we have the bike. This weekend, we will be using the Rogue Echo bikes. We will have one in the warm-up area to make sure you know what your actual seat setting is before you get out onto the race course. Again, the only requirement on there is that you sell your soul, you get to 25 calories, and then you jump off and enjoy the rest of the race. Once you get done with your 25 calories, you're gonna go and find your dead ball that should be right in front of the bike. At that point, you're going to complete 20 dead ball over the shoulders. Main requirements here is that the ball comes from the ground, goes up and over the shoulder, and then lands back on the ground to complete 1 rep. Now, you can't be a gremlin and just throw the ball from here. You have to actually stand up out of it. So we should see some hip extension here. Knee extension is not required. Again, get it up and over the shoulder, and then back down on the ground is where you're gonna pick the ball back up from, okay? So that can be done in 2 ways. You can either come here and turn around and check it. You could also do this way as well too, okay? Either one of those would work. Second to last, we have the tank push pull that you will complete for 100 meters. The 100 meters will be laid out the same way that you saw in the farmer's carry, where you go 10 meters down and 10 meters back 5 different times. We are using the standard Zebex tanks, which means that men, you're going to be all the way down on the resistance level at a level 8. Women, you'll be at a 7. Masters division, you're going to be at a 5. If you are a co-ed team, please listen up to this. Your lady friend on the team must now push at the men's resistance at that 8 level. They're no longer allowed to switch back and forth between the 2 different ones. Another really important thing to know is that if you're doing a team's race, you are not allowed to do the I push you pull method. That one team member must push all the way down and pull all the way back before the next team member can swap back in. So with that being said, let's talk about what you can touch on the tank. On the tank itself, it's gonna have these 2 metal poles. You're allowed to touch those on the push. On the pull, there's going to be straps provided for you that you can pull back on. Now, as far as where the tank needs to travel, every tank is gonna start at cone 1, with the back wheels touching the cone, okay? Then you're going to need to push it past the cone, so both back tires need to go past the second cone. And then as you pull back, all you need to look for, again, are those back wheels. Make sure they make it back to cone number 1. You do not need to pull the tank all the way past the front side of this cone, okay? Last but not least, you have your 20 ram burpees to complete. Your ram's gonna be facing up just like this. Your rep is going to start when you knock the ram down onto the ground. You hit your chest down to the ground, and it will be completed when you stand all the way up, both knee and hip extension, reaching all the way above your head. So those arms have to be locked out, and it can't be up here. It has to be all the way above the head. So you should look nice and straight up at the finish of your rep, okay? So you have 20 of those to do. Your time will stop when your ram gets set back on the ground. Again, don't drop it or throw it, otherwise we won't stop it. You have to set it back down on the ground. Some things to note. Again, your chest has to hit the ram. If it does not hit the ram, it does not count. You can push up or you can just flop on the ground as long as your chest actually hits the ram. The other thing, your hips are not allowed to be up. This is not acceptable, okay? You have to have your hips down towards the ground, okay? And then like I explained, ram has to come all the way up overhead. You're standing up straight. Final quick things for you guys to note: if you are doing the teams division, there will be a standard tag off that needs to happen in between each of the 10 zones in order for your partner to move on to the next zone. If you are within the same zone, for example, if you guys are splitting up the ski erg, you do not need to like tap off in any way, shape, or form to hand the handles off and let the next person start. But if you are going from the ski erg to the farmer's carry, there needs to be a physical tap off in order for that partner to actually start the next zone. Last thing to note is around the judging piece. We will give you a warning before we start handing out no reps. So let's say that your chest starts to fall forward on those ram lunges. We'll tell you to stand up more. If you continue to do reps after that are not good, we're just gonna keep you at the same number and keep counting out those no reps until you're able to fix the correction that's given. Otherwise, that's it, you guys. If you have any questions or clarifications on the rules that I just explained, please send me an email, text me, let me know what it is that you might have a question on, and I'll definitely get back to you. But have so much fun this weekend, and I can't wait to watch you crush it.